Well, it's good. We are back for another backtesting session. We are a bit late to this. We had some other amends and other ends to make ends meet. Yeah, we had to make some ends meet. Move the drawings. Let's do some backtesting on the NAS. Until now, backtest. Okay, we've been backtesting the movement and the opening of a New York session. So I think maybe by the start of next week you can do a backtesting session on the silver bullet, starting from tomorrow, 24th May, Saturday. So I can do maybe for 2 months London, 2 months New York AM, 2 months New York PM, so I can see where my age lies in the silver bullet. Then I can be backtesting the silver bullet, and if I find my age lies in one more, then I'll choose that one and go with it all the way. Right, so you can see a sweep here, good low taken out, and this is actually the sweep. Sorry, I wanted to mark this one on the daily, which means after taking out this low we might be able to push higher, reach this gap and push, continue pushing. So when we go to the weekly, you can see that this week is bullish. For now, we don't know what will happen in the coming time. So we have buy side right here, because you can see it's a daily, I think it's a daily high of, Thursday's high, because Thursday was crazily dropping. So yeah, on the 4 hour there's not much to see, except that we are pushing high, created a order block and trying to retest it. This is a liquidity level as well, similar to this one, so you might target these highs on today. It's currently 2 on Thursday, so it's a 2 hour. You can mark this order block so that we can see what will be targeted when we drop this order block, because there is a level of liquidity here, which means we can take this low, then hit this order block and we push higher. So yeah, that's what I see by the looks of the market right now. On the 1 hour, you can just mark these liquidity levels. There's a short-term liquidity level you can target in the London silver bullet. I'm going to see if we can work with silver bullet now, but it's for a short period of time. So now let's go to the 15. So we're dropping a bit. Keep in mind you have a liquidity level resting down. What? Wait, it's already 8. I thought we were going to test the movement here between 3 and 4. So we've got the 1 minute, I think. Let's see if there's an entry between 3 and 4. So between 3, is it Thursday? Yeah, Thursday between 3, somewhere here. Let me use this 3. And 4. Right here. So you can see that the market was dropping towards the liquidity level we had marked. Didn't create any fair value gap. Did the 5 minute create any? Nope. Oh, come on. Okay, so you can see that it continued to drop a bit, shifted in structure here. You can now see fair value gap right here. It was the first one. it was tapped into really small, and then market creates another one here, but you can see that this order block held, which means if you are to enter in fair value gaps here, you can just put the stop loss above this order block and then target the liquidity levels below before the well, we can target this one, but this would be too far. I don't think we'd reach that place by the day, but this is a good liquidity level. On the short term we can have this one here on the 1 minute, of course. That will be our target. Let's see if it gets hit. So we enter on the first retest. Sorry, this is another block. We create a fair value gap, so let's suppose we enter here unknowingly. Stop loss is about the first candle most of the time, so which means here we would have been stopped out. But in the 5 minute, don't see any clear entry. So if the stop loss would have been here above this other block, then, and our target was here. These are the trades I don't like, man. An 8R, it's really too big. You would have to wait for an eternity for it to get touched. Okay, a sell hit. What happened at 9 though? 9:13 here. Can see it was treated the fair value gap, pushed higher. Anyway, stopped us out. So let's see the New York. We go to the 4 hour. You can look at this candle and see that it started pushing a little bit high. 1 minute. You can see that the first fair value gap after 10 was this one. No retest. Here there's a good one, and we continue pushing up, but you can see that we created a shift structure right here. We've retested a small fair value gap in here, and as we push higher, our target can be this high or even this one. This high was it the Thursday high? I guess. Oh, Thursday high was, which means maybe it was today's first high, was somewhere up here. Today's midnight open was here. I think this was, yeah, midnight open was somewhere there. So if you can see if you can have a trade and target here, you can see that we'll put our stop loss under the order block somewhere here. So take profit right here. Stopped me out, but on the 5 minute you can see it would have tooled. Okay, does it end up taking the high? Absolutely not. Damn, silver bullet. So it ends up taking us out instead. Looks like this day was a bit messy. The 4 hour, you can see it was, wow, dropping us crazy. Now let's wait. We've got the shift here. Oops, here. below, we shift a good oh, no, this is not a small one, a good fair value gap retest, and then we drop onto the liquidity level. You can see that we're about to take it out, which means it's here, and we target right here. Okay, stop loss. It will get tagged out, but this trade will take 1 hour and 7 minutes. Not bad. So maybe what I have to learn is to read price and know what the 4-hour candle is targeting to do by 10, because it looks like the 4-hour candle has many things that it would do. Anyways, let's continue backtesting our strategy, the one we were doing earlier. But the silver model is not a strategy, it's just a model I want to backtest and know how it works and the win rate that it offers. Other than that, the strategy is still ICT-man. So you can see right here that we swept out this low. And we are trying to push higher. So that will be the sweep of the day, 1 hour. You see it right here. Low tagged out, even this one was tagged out. We can just mark this one. And then we pushed higher, shifted in structure here. And here you can also apply the silver model of 14. Where is, yeah, here. Now you can just play it and see the first fair value of the forms and see if it provides something. So we have this one right here. We remember we had reversed, we had the sweep, the shift, and then we've got a good fair value gap. So let's see a candle confirmation, maybe. Okay, so we didn't, which means that setup was invalidated. So we take out the low again, see it right there, and then I don't know if we're going to reverse right here. Okay, this is the time where you don't use the charts. Get off of them by this time. So back to 5 minutes. We wait for tomorrow's 9:30, and I think we can speed up. So this is already 8:55. This Friday has NFP, and I think it has already taken place somewhere. 8:30, yeah, this one. So it looks like there was no big deal, but yeah, this was the first Friday of the month, and this was all. We can now wait for a setup to form at 9:30. To go back to the 1 minute. Okay, so 9:10. Let's wait for 9:30 and then let's do a small analysis. So on the daily, you can see that we didn't push higher, but instead we're dropping, which means we've shifted structure already. We don't plan on going higher. We swept out this high liquidity, and then we started dropping heavily, which means we might have another liquidity level to target, which is maybe this daily low or this one. And the 4 hour, you can see that, yeah, we can take out these levels and then maybe push higher later. And if that's the case, then maybe we might have a POI right here to support us, such as this fair value gap. I don't know, but I don't think this fair value gap would be strong enough. So maybe we'll see if we'll find another confluence that will support us taking out this low and then reacting, or taking out this low and then dropping into this series of blocks right here, series of down close candles. So now when we go to the 2 hour, you can see we're dropping as crazy, so which means we can look for a trade here, selling to the bottom. You can see that we took out a small high right here, then we dropped the shift, retest of this other block, and now it's 9:10, 9:15, 9:20. Oh, it's down so okay, you can see that by 9:30 we shifted to the upside. Crazy move, but I can't just fall for this. This might be the manipulation. You can see that we took out these highs. Okay, so now here I think this is, maybe I can enter on this one. Let's see how this candle closes. Okay, don't think it's going to provide an entry. In 1 minute, you can see that 9:30 is here. This was the first presented fair value gap. We saw a small push over it, then we dropped, disrespected it, pulled back right into it, dropped, disrespected it, pulled above it, dropped into it, and pushed higher. Crazy. So let's wait for a fair value gap to pop up. This one was respected though, you can see it where the candles closed, which means we might be going higher and targeting these highs right here. So let's see if we get an entry criteria. But we got a gap retest. I don't know if we can look for another entry criteria. How long? Just have to target here. Well, we were late to the party. That's why we should have entered somewhere here if we knew. But because our bias was wrong, we didn't know. Come on. Just push up already. Nope, it doesn't want to. But you can see it retraced into this other block right here. So we didn't take out the highs. There's one loss. And you can see that there's this other block right here, and we might be respecting it, considering that we are dropping into a good fair value gap. So let's take another risk. Yeah, it's almost PM session. Okay, looks like this day didn't want to obey the rules. Okay, so let's wait for the next week. To the next week on the 1 hour. Consider this week was quite stupid. I mean, look at this candle. So when you go to the daily, yeah, we can see how the next week opens because the day is about to end. And crazily, we pushed higher after this. I mean, we generated equal lows here, and yeah, liquidity. Next week dropped fully, taking out these equal lows, relatively equal lows. Need to learn how to read price action. The weekly, you can see that we opened creating a gap. So on the daily, yeah, there's a gap. 4 hour, yeah, this gap will be traded back into it's like some kind of liquidity level. Should I make it like this? Yeah, this is the new week open gap. Okay, let's wait for New York to start now. But our bias is to trade into this gap. So if we drop, then we might possibly first look for an entry to push us higher. But before that, we can see that we dropped, and we are about to take out this low, this daily low. And on the weekly, it's also a strong liquidity level, which means this might be a strong liquidity level. I can't tell it. Yeah, and if we can reach this one or push her into the new week open gap. Sorry, let's go to 5 minutes. Let's wait for 9:30. This is still Sunday, so you can wait for 9:30 the next day. The next day, 9:30. Where's 9:30? Okay, that doesn't seem like it was here yet. Yeah. So we dropped and took out the liquidity level, as you can see. What kind of candles are these? Okay, crazy crash on the yo. Do you see this? The weekly. The images. What in the world is this? So simply the market wanted to drop to an order block, as we had anticipated. You can see it's somewhere like this one, or even the fall of this one, but still the market wanted to drop into an order block. So it did, but with a crash before trying to push higher. So which means the trade here to the sell side would have been a good one. Let's go back to the 5 minutes and see how the market's behaving after this. What type of candle is this? Okay, so let's see. So we currently have the gap somewhere high there. Where is it? This was just the one. Oh, I removed the image. I was wondering where the gap just went. Okay. And now let's see what market does. We can know that we are surely have to test that this high, and it has been already. Wait, it crashed at 4:30. Opened at 9:35, which means this was the opening move, and I think this was the first presented fair value gap. This one, yep, it was no reaction. 5 minutes, you can see that we're reacting on another block, and the 10 hour candle starts here. Yeah, pushes high, drops into another block. How about we take an entry and target the midpoint of the void? Yeah, something looking like this. Be serious. Right, another the first presented fair value gap, we dropped into it. Let's see what this next trade does. Okay. Okay, now here's another opportunity we can try. Still wanted to reach the midpoint. Seriously. So we dropped into the gap fully, but we didn't, and then this small order block took out the low by a few pips, but it's some relatively equal lows. So we'll see how the market judges it. But this day was a really crazy trading day. Yeah, so I guess that was all for today. No big entries, no interesting backtesting mode, but we'll keep on pushing. So until we meet again, peace.